I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Thursday.
Are you looking for a job? Somebody is.
Yes, they are. Cherry Creek School Superintendent Chris Smith announced he would resign and retire on Wednesday, effective January 30th. Wow.
Yeah, sure. Retire my foot. He was fired. He was fired and given the grace of allowing to keep the retirement and benefits and possibly get another job by not being removed for cause or whatever they were going to do. He was absolutely, I mean, again, only because of the politics and what you saw involved inside the district if you'd been paying attention to the story. It's obvious. They told you you're gone.
We're going to talk with Molly Lamar, but you got fam in the district.
Yeah, I've been neck deep in this.
Really? Were you guys having
I mean, we knew it. I mean,
kitchen
absolutely.
table conversations?
Oh, yeah. There was conversation before the Tony Kowaleski story, conversations afterwards. Watched all the stories, read all the stuff. Yeah, neck deep in all of it. Watched all of it. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, read the official announcement from Chris himself yesterday. Had that in my hands. Yeah, from the district. Yeah.
Intrigued
read that came
to
out.
hear your perspective with the fam that works in the district. Well, we're going to talk with Molly Lamar in just about 10 minutes. She's going to join us. We'll give you the latest on what's happening within the Cherry Creek School District. Trump accounts. We'll get to those in the 7 o'clock hour. What do you think of what Trump set up in these Trump accounts? We'll give you the latest on how they work and how you can be a part of them, even if you're not having a baby this year. We're going to talk with Senator Linda Zamora Wilson on the expansion of red flag gun bills down at the Colorado State Capitol. And then Stephen Tubbs, DEA, will be joining us in the 9 o'clock hour. So got a great show lined up with you. Now it's time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Thursday morning, 29 and mostly clear in Denver, expecting a high of 45 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning once again at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, Cherry Creek Schools superintendent fired, and Billy's going to talk about that with Jeff coming up. An Aurora mother who was searching for her 3 daughters who had been missing since Wednesday afternoon have been found safe, thank God, just after midnight. You can see the girls on surveillance video leaving with their backpacks packed. They had no idea where they were going. Great news this morning. They have been found safe. A man has died after falling into an ice-covered pond at Sand Creek Park in Aurora. First responders were called Tuesday night after a report that the man and one of his dogs had fallen into the pond. The man and the dog were pulled from the water, and he was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. He died after he arrived at the hospital. His name will be released after an examination by the Adams County Coroner's Office. The federal agents involved in Minneapolis, the shootings, have been placed on administrative leave. DHS says it's part of a standard protocol. DJT says he expects an honorable and honest investigation into the shootings of Preddy. There's your alarm clock, and those are the paid protesters at the Hilton in Minneapolis, outside where they believe the ICE agents are staying. How about that, though? Listen to this. Let's just listen to their talents.
I have middle school kids in band that sound better than that.
Absolutely.
Oh man,
They're
I sat through a
practicing.
lot of band concerts, and a first-year sixth grader with a trumpet sounds better than that.
Oh, that's absolutely they do, and they're far more likable than these knuckleheads. So that's what they do every night, and then you hear the whistles, and it's just constant, just creating havoc. Let's see, Colorado nurses and supporters honoring VA nurse Alex Preddy, whose death in Minneapolis. This reads that it sparked national outrage. So thanks to the media, that happened. Many of them gathered outside Rocky Mountain Regional VA Medical Center in Aurora for a candlelight vigil last night, with attendees saying that the turnout sends a powerful message.
Seeing a lot of people come together and acknowledge that change needs to be made.
Why does it need to be made? The majority of Americans agree with the deportations. Continue.
And having the same solidarity just gives a sense of community.
If there's
Solidarity, sense of community. Okay, peaceful protesters, you go over there, and then ICE does their job, and then do it the right way. I'm sure you wouldn't, like us doing that to you if we disagreed with you. Here's another nurse.
some changes made, Alex's death will not be in vain.
Well, there's a lot of history on him. I'm not saying he should have died, but then again, the investigation is not final. But last week, it may have been. It looks like there's an over 95% chance that he was one of the guys who kicked in the tail light of the ICE agent. Just creating hell. That's all. That's what happened. And he was.
That's still not capital
obstructing.
punishment, though. To be fair.
Oh, that's true.
To be fair, I mean, at the end, I understand what you're doing, but I understand what
Yeah.
you're doing, but it is. I'm sorry, but you're coming close to a line on the idea of a person that was shot in the street, regardless of whether or not you think it was justified, and go, oh well, look, they were such a bad person after the fact. That doesn't change what was going on in that instant.
No, but I think we can understand the totality of who this guy was and what he was doing.
Yeah, he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't coming home from helping patients at the hospital.
We have. Hang on a sec. We have this one
strolling
incident.
by.
We have this one incident, and now all of a sudden he's a domestic terrorist. So we're playing that game.
Billy, did
We're
he
playing that game.
Did he
No.
obstruct the agents
We're
from
playing
doing
that
their
game.
job?
I didn't see him
Did he
obstructing.
go in there and did he say "F you,
hang
F
on.
you"?
Blake,
Did he go in there and obstruct?
what I saw
did he
on the day-
resist?
on
did
the-
he resist?
on the day-
Did he resist? Was he obstructing?
No.
Did he allow them to do their job? Would
on
you
the day
do that?
on the day he was shot, he does not obstruct them. He does not obstruct them.
This guy wasn't an angel. Okay, he's
Blake,
going in
Blake,
there
I
trying
answered-
to raise
Blake,
hell. That's
I
what he
answered
does.
your question.
That's what
He
they
didn't-
do.
Blake, I answered your question. He didn't obstruct him on that day. He didn't obstruct him on that day.
Okay.
Full stop.
All right. Did they
There
know
wasn't
him?
I'm not sure we
anything.
know that. At that moment,
true,
yeah.
too.
I'm not sure we know what he was doing prior to this.
Do
On
we have
that
any
day.
report? Has anything come out from ICE or the government?
Well, we don't
No,
know.
again,
We have to
But
go
you
through
were the
their
one that,
investigation.
Hold
Billy,
on,
you were the
hold
one
on.
that was saying, was he obstructing anything on that
Yeah,
day? And I'm just
that's what I
saying,
wanna know.
I'm not sure we know that.
Well, here's the thing. Remember, the government came out real quickly and said he was a violent domestic terrorist that approached the ICE officers brandishing a firearm with intent to cause maximum damage. Okay? That's what we were told right off the jump. If there was something else that the government had so far as his behavior, especially contained with him being a violent agitator, I'm pretty sure we should have seen it because it helps the narrative of him being a violent domestic terrorist. The fact it isn't out there right now and they've moved Tom Homan in tells us there isn't anything there. If there was something there from the ICE agent
May
saying,
not
oh
be.
my God,
Yeah.
he came in and assaulted me 5 minutes earlier, it would be there because now you have the idea that you have probable cause that he is an agitator that got physical and created issues. It would be out because it helps the
but you're
defense
not-
of the narrative.
Yeah, you're correct on that, but I think it's important to understand the fullness of who this guy was and what he was doing down there. And you do have an effort that's coming from the left to kind of make him a martyr and a saint and disregard anything else. You know, they push out the VA nurse side of him and then this picture, and then they AI alter the picture to make him look better.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
the left out
Again,
there is absolutely
I'm sorry.
spinning
The White House did AI alterations on an individual's photo last year, so we don't get to play. These people are doing this to the photos.
No, but
both sides are changing AI.
Billy,
Are using AI to change
left
photos
out
to
there
run a
is
narrative.
spinning a web that this guy was Mother Teresa walking down the street that got popped by an evil Nazi.
And right here,
what's
hang on a second.
happening,
And on here,
what Blake is doing is just simply showing the fact that he's been out there before. He kicked in taillights.
Blake is forwarding an alternate narrative that he was this angry domestic terrorist that was out there looking for blood.
No,
both people are pushing a
I didn't
negative
call him a
narrative.
terrorist.
Blake's more honest than the
No, not even close.
AI-generated MSN.
Not even close. I'm not defending the AI-generated image. I'm just saying this narrative that he was out there being this violent obstructionist so far hasn't been proven. And based on the one video we saw a number of weeks ago, I don't see a violent obstructionist either, especially knowing that in that altercation, he got a broken rib. Okay.
And then decided to go back out, which is wild.
It looked like he spit in the previous altercation. Not that you deserve to die, but it looks like he spit at them.
But again,
also.
remember, this is used as a justification of him being a bad person, so it's okay that he's gone. And that's it. And the bad person that we're that we're using. Hang on a sec. I paid attention to this media narrative since yesterday. That's the narrative. Look how bad this guy is. That's why it's the top story on Fox News. Look, we have a video of him spitting in a car and kicking the side of a car. I'm sorry. I have seen a lot of people do that, and that doesn't rise to the level of domestic terrorist. Yes. Yes, Blake, I have.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people. I've been on a soccer field with other players that have spit. I have seen people kick cars. Really? Yes, 110%.
I mean, I've seen on TV, I've seen people spit at each other.
Yeah, I've seen people spit at each other. Yes, I've seen people in fights spit at each other. I've seen people in parking lots spit at each other after concerts, after football games. Yes, I have seen people. I have been on the field when I have seen other players spit at each other. Yes. Yeah. I have seen it. I've seen people kick cars in altercations. I've seen people go over and break windows and break. I remember an altercation that happened on a soccer field that people went over and broke taillights and headlights of people that drove other cars in the other team.
Still, nobody has said he deserves
especially
to die
for a soccer
on this show.
The issue is it's this presentation of look how horrible this person is. That's the issue. It's this narrative that somehow, well, it's okay, he's gone. That's the thing. That's just ridiculous.
Nobody said that. You're reading stuff into it. Okay, go ahead, Blake.
Okay.
Please.
Well, here's another nurse since we need to remember him.
I want people to feel heard, and I want people to have comfort and comfort with each other.
Okay, fair enough. I don't think he's a terrorist, though. I just think, you know what, dude, don't obstruct justice or don't obstruct the ICE from doing their job and resist. Raising hell, that's all you're doing. Minnesota, that doesn't mean he should have died. There's an investigation. But he,
we have an entire thing called the Darwin Awards, and nobody in the Darwin Awards deserves to die. But we highlight people that do stupid things, and one of the stupidest things you can do is put yourself in the middle of a law enforcement operation with people who have guns. I'm not saying that shootings are justified or whatever. I'm just saying common sense. Exactly. Don't put yourself in between a person with a gun and criminals.
That's right. That's all I'm saying. Minnesota cold
didn't do that. That's okay.
Lawmakers urging Congress to delay funding for DHS until changes are made on illegal immigration enforcement. See, I mean, this is what the media does. When this was written, it was said changes are made on immigration enforcement. No, it's illegal immigration enforcement. Democrats Amy Klobuchar and Tina Smith, those are geniuses, outlined reforms they say must come before a vote to fund ICE, which include banning masked officers. What a great idea that is. Once again, that should help everyone. Requiring body cameras. So it continues in Minnesota. DJT and Democratic leader Schmucky Schumer are close to a deal that would avert a government shutdown. Government funding is set to expire Friday at midnight. And the New York Times says 47 and Schumer moved closer toward a possible agreement on a plan that would make funding the DHS separate from government funding package. A car crash into a New York City Jewish organization is being investigated as a hate crime. NYPD says the driver repeatedly crashed his car into the Shabbat World headquarters in Brooklyn last night, over and over and over, with his Honda. And Hondas are tough, so he probably did it 3 or 4 times. The FBI is now leading the investigation into the liquid attack on Kargar's woman Ilhan Omar. 55-year-old Anthony Kazmierzak is accused of squirting liquid on Omar during the town hall and was booked on third-degree assault charge. Officials later said preliminary reports indicate that the substance was not toxic.
I think it was vinegar, right? Is that what
Yeah,
they're
it's
saying?
vinegar.
Vinegar.
And what else was it?
Here, I saw this dude texted, like his neighbor, to say, "Hey, can you walk my
Yeah, I saw
dog?
that
I might get
also.
arrested at the Ilhan Omar event." Can I just take a moment of public service? And if anybody ever texts you that they might be arrested doing something, I think it may behoove you to either try to talk your friend out of it,
Yeah.
or let somebody else
Let
know.
someone know. Yeah.
But I don't think you're
I
being a
agree.
narc in that case.
No, I agree.
But if, hey, Blake, walk my dog, I might be arrested robbing a bank tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or visiting the bank or whatever, like, hey, Jeff, maybe you need some help. You in a financial struggle? What can we do here? But the friend just brushed it off. He's like, oh, I didn't think he was serious. Come on.
I'm going to double down on people who Billy like. Let's go with Elon. He says his Tesla plant in California into a robot factory. He's going to turn that plant into a robot factory, the Tesla plant, on a fourth quarter earnings call Wednesday. He said he is ending production on the Model S and X Teslas that are assembled at his plant in Fremont, and will instead convert the space to make Optimus robots. All right, evidently it sounds like Bo Nix is not happy with Sean Payton talking about his ankle injury history. Says he doesn't know exactly what the history is and shouldn't be talking about it. Keep an eye on that. Ottawa over the Avalanche last night, 5-2. And the Nets over the Nuggets, Nets at the Nuggets tonight, tip-off at 7 o'clock. 28 in Louisville, 27 in Arvada, 29 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Billy. Good morning. It's Thursday, and Stefan's coming in with you guys, too. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS. You mad yet?
Partly cloudy, mild. Temperatures reaching the low to mid-50s today. Cloudy tonight. Lows will be in the 20s. It'll be a touch cooler Thursday. There's a chance for a little bit of snow in the mountains tonight and tomorrow morning, but just cooler here along the Front Range with highs tomorrow 40s, 20s tomorrow night, 45 to 50 on Friday. The highs will be 50s for the weekend. Overnight lows in the 20s, and likely more of the same through Monday. The next chance of moisture will be Tuesday of next week. Meteorologist on day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Alrighty, kicking it off this morning. Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Headline from Denver 7, Cherry Creek superintendent resigns, announces retirement following a Denver 7 investigation. Cherry Creek School Superintendent Chris Smith announced he would resign and retire on Wednesday, effective January 30th. A press release from the district states that Smith submitted a letter of resignation to the district's board of directors, which was accepted during a meeting in executive session on Tuesday. Multiple sources tell Denver 7 investigates that Smith informed a group of principals and staff on a group call at around 1 p.m. on Wednesday. An email to parents went out shortly thereafter. In the letter, Smith writes, after thoughtful reflection and extensive conversations with my family and colleagues, I'm formally announcing my retirement as superintendent of the Cherry Creek School District effective January 30th, 2026. Smith's leadership has been at the center of multiple Denver 7 Investigate stories over the past 2 weeks. Informed insiders, including current and former staff members, have come forward to expose what they call a toxic culture within the district. Well, she's been active following all of this, and she joins us now, Molly Lamar. I asked Molly what title to give her. She just said, I'm a mom in the Cherry Creek School District. So, but she's more than that. She's very active in tracking all of this. Molly, thank you for taking time to join the Jeff and Bill Show.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. I was just going to say it's a new day in Cherry Creek, and our future is a little brighter than it was yesterday.
Tell us what happened here. First of all, who is Chris Smith? What were the problems associated with him, and how you feel about this retirement or resignation?
Well, I want to start by saying, first and foremost, that while Chris, it's a good first step. We do have a toxic culture currently in our district. So, and while this is a good first step, it's just the beginning. Chris has been the superintendent for 4 years, and our scores have gone down. We've lost a ton of really good teachers, veteran teachers, amazing associate superintendents. It's unfortunate, and it's not the Cherry Creek way. Here we are constantly in the news, and frankly, it's embarrassing. It's a distraction to what the charge of the district is, which is to educate students, and it's time to get back on track. But we're unfortunately we're not done. We need to. It's a systemic problem right now.
And help me understand, like, what a toxic culture means. Was he just mean to people? I think there was an element in which his wife, I think, served as the head of HR, so nobody could complain. Like, help us understand the details here.
So Chris Smith was hired. He and his wife, Brenda, come from Douglas County. Chris was hired in 2009 from Douglas County. He was a teacher and a principal, and came to Cherry Creek. And his wife, Brenda, was the union president for Douglas County schools. In 2012, they had this big upset, and Brenda left. And if you go all the way back, you can find that in Douglas County, while Brenda was president, they had a toxic work culture. So same sort of thing. Now that they have this, they're married, and she's the chief of HR. So he became superintendent in 2021. She was promoted to chief of HR in 2022. And they have created this environment where staff, teachers do not feel comfortable coming forward. Even just the idea of your boss is married to essentially your other boss. How do you come forward and say, hey, I've got a problem?
Yeah, and I want to bring Bill Thorpe in because Bill's got family that works in the district. Bill, What had you been hearing the last few years with regards to Chris Smith's leadership?
There were lots of questions just internally, and this is not necessarily stuff that's expressed by people that are in my direct family, but lots of questions about leadership, and more importantly, very little, if any, trust in the HR process. And we all know that in the corporate world, that in any world, that HR is there to protect the employer, not the employee. They are not on the employee's side. But the information that I had been given and was privy to was there was another layer of protectionism that existed inside where HR many times was viewed by internal Cherry Creek employees more like an arm of Big Brother in Orwell's 1984, that they were the eyes, they were the ears, and anybody that complained, then you became a problem. And the idea of they weren't there necessarily to make sure that everything went well for an HR perspective or the employee perspective, that there was an impression that it was about what is going to be best for the school and everything else be damned. And what I mean by the school, it would be the entire district. It's not necessarily just the school. And there also was an impression of people inside the district because of how HR was approaching things and because of the cozy relationship that you had individuals moving around the district that in another situation, they wouldn't be able to. And what I mean by that is teachers, administrators that had done something and gone sideways and they were moved out into another role or placed in other positions. And there were questions from those new schools of how in the heck did so-and-so who had a problem at the previous school with something similar get into my school here in the same type of a role. There were some of those things, and there were and another series of things. I mean, there were all sorts of questions about discipline, all sorts of questions about other stuff as well. Discipline being a gigantic one. Yeah.
What does that mean, discipline? Like just the kids weren't being disciplined? Or?
Yeah, kids aren't being disciplined.
Okay.
The bad kids stay in the classes. The bad kids get passes out of things. It's, I mean, there was one where I remember a report of a parent calling into the school gang going, hang on, I just got a notification that my student is getting an award in such and such and such, and then went through and walked through what the person's attendance and grades were in that particular subject. Like, how is this possible?
Like they got an award, but they just weren't ever
No, they weren't even showing up, not doing work. And they're like, according to the grade that I've got on, that I'm seeing in Power School, I'm seeing this grade. How am I getting a notification that this person is getting an award? Yeah. And the parent was confused. The parent wasn't like, they were like, am I missing something? Am I not seeing something? Is there something in the Power School that's wrong? They were confused. They were thinking that they were hassling. Honestly, from the story that I got was the parent felt they were hassling their kid for something they may not should have been hassling them for, because according to what they were seeing, the kid was close to failing the subject. And then they get a notification about getting an award.
Molly, Lamar, mom with kids in the Cherry Creek School District, talking about the resignation, technically, which it is, but maybe since firing after reports are coming up from Denver 7 of the Cherry Creek superintendent. Molly, what's your response to what Bill was saying there and other problems that the district was facing?
Well, I 100% agree. I think, we don't just have an issue with the superintendent and his wife. We have another power couple that, there needs to be a focus on that issue and that relationship. We have a major spending problem. We've agreed to $15 million for the Centennial Soccer Stadium, which isn't on time, and so now we're going to miss out on revenue. We just have multiple problems, and the first step is starting to clean house. But we also have a board of education that has been complicit in all of this, and it's a problem. Two of our board members have been on the board for all 6 years of, Chris Smith was superintendent, but he was also chief of staff for the former superintendent. And so 2 of our board members have been on the board, and we're part of the hiring for him. Not only have we silenced our staff and our teachers, but our board is completely silent. You know, they don't. I don't want to say puppets. That's not fair. But they haven't stood up for what's right. They haven't stood up for our students. They've watched this happen, and it has not been in the best interest of students, like Bill said.
That's Molly Lamar. She's a mom and activist in the Cherry Creek School District, commenting on the resignation, essentially firing.
Yeah, he was fired.
Of the superintendent following.
Oh, and snuck out the back door. I mean, we
I might do the same thing if I was getting fired.
we thought that maybe they'd pull. You know, I was there. We thought that maybe they would pull us back in and have this. You know, that they'd go into discuss personnel matters, and then they'd pull us back in because we were there for an evaluation. And then all of a sudden, watch him sneak out the back door.
Molly, though, he's good at sneaking. I mean, if you watch that Tony Kowaleski, the reports, there's that point where Tony shows up at the school board meeting. And again, the visual I looked at was shocking. Not the idea, oh my God, what's going on? This is chaos. But from a public relations standpoint, the video of Chris at the school board meeting was shocking. First, Tony is showing up. They knew he was showing up at the school board meeting. So they have extra security, a lot of extra security around the school board meeting. Then after the meeting adjourns, Tony stands up, takes a couple of steps forward, not coming up to the tables, but just a couple of steps away from the chairs, and starts to shout some questions at Chris. That's when security guards stand in front of Tony. Sir, you cannot approach the tables. Sir, you cannot approach the tables, blocking his path. I didn't see Tony trying to get closer, but the security guard steps in front. And Chris, the superintendent at the time, his response is to turn tail. He picks up his stuff as quickly as possible and goes right out the back door. That is
it's
PR
like those
nightmare.
Cartoons where they run off and then they go up and over a hill, disappear, and then rise up on another hill.
It's exactly what it was. And the idea is and I'm sorry, but just from the visual of that was so bad, so egotistical, so wrong for a presentation inside of the district. He can come out and he can knock down whatever questions he wants. You know, Tony, we appreciate this. We're taking a long look. We're having serious discussions. You and I, Molly and Jeff, can invent probably all the beginning of the statements he can make after any of the questions they ask. It's not hard. But when you put security that stops a reporter from approaching and you run out the back door, that's a visual that sticks. That's also a visual that tells anybody in the district and anybody watching, I'm not answering your questions and I don't care.
Is his wife still
100%.
employed? Is his wife still employed?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I haven't been able to confirm yes or no as to whether or not she has submitted her resignation. You know, and this is all hearsay. There are rumors flying around everywhere that multiple people have been put on leave, that Brenda is now, yesterday it was flying around that she has also stepped down, but then we haven't been able to confirm that, possibly that she has said she will not be returning after the end of the year. But, you know, that needs to happen.
Now, Deputy Superintendent Jennifer Perry is stepping in. What do you think of Jennifer?
I really like Jennifer. I've known her for a long time. The issue is how Jennifer was appointed here. They were supposed to move into, you know, now that Nicole is serving, you know that there are all of these rules for the Colorado Sunshine Law, and the public really deserves to be part of this process. So apparently, Chris submitted his resignation, pops out of the seat, runs out the back door. What should have happened was that the meeting was opened back up to the public. Instead, they have, I can't say exactly what has happened because the transcripts haven't been provided or the recordings, so I can't confirm all of this. But they then move into or stay in executive session, and eventually Jennifer Perry is. We're told that she is now the interim superintendent. In the letter yesterday, Chris announces that she's the interim superintendent. He can't do that. It's the board's job to vote on her, and then they should be the ones to tell us. They're the voice for the people. There's a lack of transparency. There's a lack of accountability, and it's all on the backs of our kids.
That's Molly Lamar, mom activist. We're talking about the resignation of the Cherry Creek superintendent, and we're getting text messages. Here's from one that works in the district. I've been in the Cherry Creek School District for 25 years. At my school, Brenda Smith put a paraeducator on unpaid leave for 2 weeks for asking why we didn't take a snow day because she couldn't push a wheelchair up our ramps after bad weather. So just asking the question got this teacher on 2 weeks of unpaid leave. There's been a massive misappropriation of funds regarding the soccer fields, Traverse, our mental health facility, and the new administration building. The Denver Gazette wrote about it last summer. Multiple Title IX lawsuits, also in the Gazette. He has threatened teachers in meetings, including the one that's texted in here. He is bad news. We've known about it for years. This is a good start, but Brenda needs to go as well. Wow.
100%.
Directly from a teacher.
Yep. I mean, I think it was last week or the week before, we had an announcement that there was a 10% reduction in discretionary funds. There was no conversation. It was there, just a letter was sent to district leadership that this is a 10% reduction in funds for the budgets that already exist. We had, in an effort to save money because we've overspent so badly, they've reduced the temperature in the swimming pools at the high school.
No.
At all of our high schools. So here our kids are showing up, early morning to go swimming.
Shivering.
And but then what's even worse, Jeff, is they get out of the pool, try to go warm up in a hot shower, and the water is cold.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
night.
And of course, there's an uprising from the parents. And so, yes, they corrected that. But it's just one example of.
Well, it
not Cherry
seems
Creek
like
schools.
from both sides, both conservative and progressive, everybody agrees this guy had to go. We've only got about a minute left. Molly Lamar, what really needs to change? Is it the school board?
Yes, I think so. Unfortunately, Jeff, right now we're looking for a new superintendent. We have 3 brand new board members. We have 2 board members who have overseen all of this and done nothing. I do appreciate the effort right now, but dramatic things need to happen in order for me to retract that statement.
And look, we had 2 candidates for school board on that were not elected. These were people that wanted to put students first and choice first and really bring some conservative leadership to the Cherry Creek School District, and they weren't elected this last cycle. So it sounds like there not only needs to be change here, but with the direction of the school board as well. And Molly Lamar, I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for joining the Jeff and Bill Show.
Thank you both, guys. Thank you. Have a great day.
We'll continue to track this. Would love to hear from you. I'm an alum of the district. There was a time when Cherry Creek School District was the preeminent school district in the state. I don't think that's the case anymore. And would love to hear from you. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Cherry Creek superintendent resigning, announces retirement following Denver 7 investigation. Now, this was a weird dynamic. How did the board allow that dynamic to take place where your chief human resource officer is
They had to sign a waiver.
dude's wife?
They had to sign a waiver. It is not allowed by the school district. It is by the bylaws specifically prohibit that type of a relationship between two executives running the district. But the school board, when they placed Chris, again, I told you, I'm not eating this damn thing. The school board allowed a waiver. They approved a waiver allowing both of them to serve in those leadership roles during their time.
Yeah, the only way I could see that happening is if, they're so unbelievably amazing that we would be simply fools not to allow them to do this. But really, in HR, I'm bringing back Coldplay vibes of
the thing
the
for
HR.
Me, the thing for me is
the
crazy part is the idea that you need the waiver because these are the only two people that are capable of doing the job. and it's Chris that was placed into it. His wife was already there at the HR part, if I get the timeline correct, if I remember. And so the idea is that's the only choice you think you have for a school superintendent. I'm sorry. Cherry Creek School District, as you said, Jeff, has a really good reputation across the country. You are telling me you can't find anybody better for the job, more well-equipped, or more excited to do the job than the person that is married to the director of HR. Huh? Pardon me? It was stupid. And they ran this dumb little exemption to allow them to do it. And everything that was a red flag beforehand, that is why the rule was created in the first place, happened. All of it. Everything they thought of, all of the double dealing that people accused them of. And I'm not saying it happened or didn't happen. I'm saying all the allegations, all the appearances of impropriety, all of the blowback between this looked like a concerted effort where HR is not actually looking at human resources, instead just an arm of what's going on in the superintendent's office. All of that stuff was something you should have seen coming into this, and that was the reason that the rule was enacted in the first place. This is a Chesterton fence moment. That's basically what it is.
I don't know what that is.
Chesterton fence moments are things where people come in and they see this fence. Why is that fence running through that field? I don't know. Doesn't seem like you need a fence there. Let's tear it down. And then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks later, you find out why. Maybe it's keeping the cattle in. Maybe it's keeping other things out.
Gotcha.
You're removing the fence before you find out what it's there for. They removed the fence and found out that's why the fence was built in the first place. It's exactly what they did.
Dude, the shivering kids thing.
Oh, yeah. I know.
I was a swimmer at Creek.
Yeah.
Not a good one.
Yeah.
But I remember those early mornings in a cold pool. I couldn't even imagine it being colder.
Oh, yeah. Colder.
And then not having a hot shower.
No.
Seriously, the Cherry Creek School District. The Cherry Creek School District.
Yeah.
With all of its tax revenue, didn't have the money to keep the kids in the pool warm.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Good
There's so many
night.
questions about where this was going. There's so many questions.
All right. Well, let's talk advanced hair restoration. How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I could achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with advanced hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there's no one I trust more in hair restoration. Their simple FUE treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. Simply put, Advanced Hair's exceptional standard of care makes your comfort and your results their top priority. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com. Advancedhair.com. We got Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
All right, Billy, it's that time of the morning to give the people what they've really tuned in for. Bill Thorpe's You Choose the News.
Yes, it's that time of the morning where we get to play America's favorite fake radio news game show. It's You Choose the News. I've spent just moments scouring the interwebs for really dumb stories about us humans, giving them even more ridiculous headlines because those in charge do not pay attention this time. So we are going to take full advantage of being left unsupervised. As always, Blake's in the news department, Jeff's in the studio. Gentlemen, here are this morning's choices. Headline number 1, making it official. Headline number 2, portable return. Headline number 3, dropping the kids off at the pool. And headline number 4, I need a new job.
Bill, you know
Mr.
exactly which one I'm going for.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Let's drop the kids
I have
off.
no idea what you're talking about. I have no clue what you're talking about.
Shiver in their Cherry Creek
Yes, it
School
is. Yes, it
District
is.
pools.
Here we find ourselves in the Netherlands. There is a problem in public that a number of people in the Netherlands are saying is completely and totally unacceptable. They can't find a place to drop the kids off at the pool. Or basically, do number 2. Yes, there's a complaint that there aren't enough public toilets in and around the Netherlands. There's a fund that has launched a national report and said that, when people are walking around in public, it's kind of a toilet desert, which is kind of interesting. And the reason they did this is because of the number of people in the Netherlands suffering from gastrointestinal conditions, Crohn's disease, some other things. And they just said restrooms for them is not a luxury, but it's a requirement for them to be out in public. They've got to be able to find one quickly and know where it is. And they found that 85% of Dutch people believe there should be more public toilets. Sorry about that. 21% said they sometimes will actually avoid activities for fear of not being able to find a toilet. And 2/3 of respondents said they have experienced incontinence because of unable to find a toilet.
Look, I'm a runner. There's been times.
There's so many
I
questions.
get it. Desperately looking.
Yes. That's exactly it. So they're like, free the toilets. That's what they want. I know. All right, Blake, your choice, sir. Making it official, portable return, or I need a new job. I know Jeff took yours, but, you know.
Yeah, that's all right, but we can stay on the same theme, portable return.
Portable return. Here, we find ourselves in British Columbia. A small granite rock, nicknamed Portable, has been returned after it was stolen recently. Now, it was taken from the Squamish, BC climbing community months ago, and they called it a rock napping. Now, it's about a 70-pound stone. It was familiar at a popular bouldering area where people climb because it's a great shaped rock that a lot of the climbers use to practice their balance and their grip. But when it disappeared last fall, climbers were left confused. Portable earned its nickname because of its size and shape. It was small enough to move, but distinctive enough because of its shape that you could easily identify it. Well, problem solved. A 23-year-old Squamish climber named Ethan Salvo discovered it recently in a bar. He was in a bar and found the rock there and is like, this is portable. So, he took it home. So portable has been returned.
Oh, there you go.
I know. Okay, final choice, making it official, or I need a new job.
I need a new job.
Yes, I need a new job. Former road assistant principal has won a battle in Mississippi court because he read a book to kids, a bunch of second graders, about I need a new butt. It's a very funny book. They had fired him over it. He appealed, and the court said, that book's not offensive, you dummies. Put him back in the classroom. All right. Speaking of education, all right. If only Chris, the superintendent, would have read that.
So many questions right now.
I know. It's a great book, though. All right. That's the end of your choosing news.
It's a real book.
Yes, it is. I need a new butt. It is. It's a real, it's an actual book.
Well, maybe you need a new savings account, Trump accounts are being offered for you. We'll get into those and more next.